Just thought I'd come on a couple of minutes early. Hello, Claire. Hi. Hello, everyone. I just thought I'd come on a couple of minutes early just to get the rhythm going and the flow and everything. I hope everybody's made a brew. It's it's yogi tea, by the way. Just got decaf coffee in. And I'm just going to fill my my pipe up. Just so, obviously I need my pipe, of course. And I've hardly got any of my liquid left, but there you go. Can everyone hear me okay? I just want to check because, you know, technical stuff and all that. Yeah, everyone can hear me all right? Just wave if you can. Wave if you can. Okay, so welcome to Bipolar UK's first ever Instagram Live. How exciting! Okay, I'm going to sit back a bit. I'm feeling like I'm filling the screen a little bit too much with my turtle pyjamas on. Okay, so this is obviously a massive privilege for me. For anybody obviously that is coming on joining who doesn't know, my name is Natasha Naomi Ray. I am the author of Me, Myself and Bipolar Brenda, the journals of a happy soul with a chaotic mind. And I'm also very lucky to say that I am an ambassador for Bipolar UK. So I was supposed to have a guest on this evening with me, but unfortunately he couldn't make it, which was my trainer, Anthony. So I've decided, obviously the show must go on, and we decided to do a quick Q&A, and obviously for me to just kind of explain what we're going to be doing with these lives, and what the kind of drive is behind them. For anybody who obviously has read my book, they'll know that I deal with my bipolar through alternative therapy, whether that be powerlifting, Kundalini yoga, meditation, obviously acting, writing, creativity. You know, I have a different lot of outlets. I also have a lot of therapy as well. And everybody needs a therapist. So the lives are basically, I'm going to have some amazing guests because I'm going to pester people and be like, you need to come on these Bipolar UK lives. It's important because we need to get bipolar talked about a lot more. We need to get more understanding about bipolar. And we need to make bipolar something that is just as normal to talk about as what people talk about when they go, I feel a bit down today. We want people to be able to go, you know, my mood's not great today. Hey, hi mate, I've been listening to your music today. So I'm planning on having some guests to come on, obviously, that basically that have been a huge influence and a huge part of my journey of staying well. And I've had some questions been sent in that have not been answered, obviously yet. One of the words I didn't understand, I did have to Google it. So, but yeah, I mean, I'm just going to have another sip of my drink, sorry. So yeah, I mean, these lives are all going to be about alternatives. Just because obviously I don't take mood stabilizers or antipsychotics. It's just the road that I chose to go down. I have a son, as most of you may know, and my experience with medication was quite traumatizing for me. So I got into meditation. I got into Reiki healing. I got into powerlifting. Obviously I've acted since I was 7 years old, so acting's always been a massive outlet for me. Acting's allowed me to express my intense moods and emotions. And I think that's really, really important that we do have those outlets, whether that be writing, whether that be music, whether that be training, art, you know, anything, going speaking to a therapist, going speaking to a friend. You know, my aim when I launched my book was, let's get Manchester talking about bipolar. And obviously it's gone a lot further than that. In a very, 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 very fast time. So yeah, these lives, I'm going to have, my personal trainer's going to be joining me, who's an extraordinary gent. My therapist is going to be joining me, who I had therapy with for a number of years, which include treatments with EFT, hypnosis. She's amazing, Janine Mitchell, Time for Change, and she's going to be joining me on one of the lives. I'm also going to be joined by Sarah, I can never say her name, she's going to hate me, she's not watching anyway, so Sarah, who's been helping me a lot with my anxiety, because I get locked on, believe it or not, even though things go well for me. I can get overstimulated. I'm sure people that are watching that suffer will be able to relate to that. I can be like a kid in a sweet shop, and that can then bring on a lot of anxiety for me and can stimulate me too much. So she's been helping me with that, because obviously, you know, Bipolar Brenda, the book, has been taking different paths. We've obviously, as people may know or may not know, we've got the Speak Out Like Brenda campaign, which has brought some amazing, talented people reading the words. So yeah, so she's been helping me with that. I'm going to be very, very lucky to be joined with my llama-loving friend, the absolutely stunning, beautiful Kath Tilsley at some point, which will be very exciting, possibly next week. And it'll be really good to chat with Kath, because she obviously is a very, very talented actress, and she really gets me, and we really, really get on. And it was interesting with her monologue because she just got it. And she suffers, you know, with anxiety. I mean, you know, bipolar is in my opinion, an illness that is an umbrella. So you kind of got, there's your, well, I'd say it was a tree actually. There's your tree, your trunk, junk in the trunk, yeah? And then you've got the branches. So then you've got your mood disorders, and then you've got your anxiety, and then you've got your OCD. So if you've read my book, you know, you've got Anxiety Annie, you've got OCD Doris, you've got Manic Mandy. And you know, and she gets that. And I think any actor or any performer really is quite sensitive. And a lot of my friends that are in the industry do suffer mentally, and I think this lockdown has had a massive effect on people. And my concern, I think I've said before on my own lives, you know, can bring this out in people, and we need more support and we need more help, and that's my mission with it. So I'm going to answer some questions. I've got some that got sent in. I'm just going to have a look and see. Oh, Miss Jodie Pringer. Do you feel that in writing your story it's helped you in any way? Yeah, massively. Do I sometimes think, oh my God, I've exposed my life? I've been asked that twice actually recently. But then with the messages I get from people that say to me, you've given me hope, you've made me not feel alone, that for me is worth its weight in gold. And I've said that, I think, a few times. And you know what? It brought me a lot of healing. Yeah, did the book make me ill? Yeah, I had to look back at certain stuff. I'm working on other stuff now where I'm having to look further back from the book, and that's triggering stuff. But that book was a light for me. It really was. And I think it's an awareness, and that's a huge thing. And that's what concerns me, is that young people that get diagnosed, it took me a very, very long time to find my alternatives, to find what works for me, what helps me, what can get me out of a bad episode, how can I get myself back on my feet. And I was obviously very, very poorly towards the end of 2018, going into 2019, and all I had was that book. And I am a big believer in, grab hold of anything that gives you a bit of light, whatever that may be, and grab hold of it with all your might. And sometimes it does get dark, and I've been in those dark places. I mean, I've had 2 major episodes in 18 months. I've had obviously 2 I've been hospitalised twice, with one with a severe low and one with obviously psychosis, really. To be fair, I wasn't in this reality, but you get through, but it's what gets you through, and that's what these lives are about, what and who gets you through. So I'm just going to look. Do you feel there's a lack of support out there? Obviously, I'm speaking from my personal experience. For me, yeah, I've not had a great experience with the mental health service. And that's not anything to do with the people that work in mental health, because the nurses, the doctors, the psychiatrists that I've met over the years have been absolutely exceptional in what they do. We don't have the funding. And if it wasn't for charities like Bipolar UK, it would be a lot harder. I was in a really bad place the other week. I get very overwhelmed. And as people may know, a lot of things are moving forward with regards to, Bipolar Brenda in the book, and talks of it going into, TV and stuff like that. And I get very locked on, like I said. And, the thing is it's really difficult because I don't have anywhere to go. And luckily I ended up, because I'm actually on the commissions, which I think I missed the meeting for Bipolar UK. I went on a support group with Bipolar UK last week or the week before. And it was a day that I'd had an assessment with the mental health team. I'd waited for that assessment with the mental health team since being in hospital in November. And I said, I need a mental health worker. I need a psychiatrist. I need to be assessed every 6 months, because I feel if I would have been assessed in 2018, I feel they would have known that I was getting poorly. I always say with bipolar disorder, there's no middle ground, and there doesn't seem to be with the mental health system. It's either that, she's doing okay, or she's literally needs to be hospitalised. So this is why the work that Bipolar UK do is so massively important, and the work that I'm trying to do with Speak Out Like Brenda is to get people that support, and to get people more aware, because, unless you fight, I was speaking to my friend the other day. I mean, I remember calling him when I got diagnosed, and he's been diagnosed now, I think, 10, 15 years. And he, says to me, Tasha, honestly, you have to fight. You have to fight to get seen. I've been put on another waiting list now. And yeah, so I am quite stubborn with Bipolar Brenda, because I've had to be. But I think I owe a lot to my son. So anybody that is suffering or on their own, it's absolutely vital that we have Bipolar UK and more funding for it, because unfortunately we don't have it in the mental health system. So I hope that's answered your question, and that's from my personal experience, from me. I'm just going to read some of these questions. I'm sorry, my big nose coming right to the screen. Kirsty, thank you for joining us. It's my friend who I did Ashes to Ashes with when I was 17. I haven't aged in 10 years. Stop. Are you joking? Have you seen this? Bless you. Just going to do a monologue for me. I'm just going to have a scroll down to see if I've got any questions. And then I'll go to the ones that got sent in. If anybody's got any questions, just send them through. Okay, so we did get some questions sent in. I'm back. Don't know what happened there. Technology for you. Okay, so one of the questions we got is, when an interest turns into an obsession, how do you overcome it? Okay. Now, here's the thing, yeah? Let's be honest. We can all get obsessed with stuff. We can. It's not just people that have bipolar disorder. We can all get obsessed. Let's just clear that up. I think when you get obsessed, I think I wrote this in my book. I think when you get obsessed with something that's not healthy for you, i.e., drink, smoking, stuff that's not good for you, and you get obsessed with it, stuff that's toxic. I spoke very openly in my book. I went down a path where I was very obsessed with bad men, actually. Let's, just be honest. Some bad men, some just unemotionally available men. I think when you get obsessed with something that's not good for you, then it can be quite difficult. And I think at that point, that's where you do need to really start to go, okay, this is not helping me. And I've done that at many, many times in my life, mainly with men, if I'm honest. Or even, with food. Sometimes I can get obsessed with certain foods that I start to think, oh, this isn't good for me. I shouldn't be eating this 24/7. I've done it in lockdown. Got obsessed with avocado on toast with garlic olive oil, and salmon, and I eat it every single day. I'll get obsessed with food. I think you just kind of have to accept sometimes that with this condition, you are an all or nothing type of person. It is for me personally. I've established that. Yesterday, I took on the world, and I probably achieved more yesterday than what most people would in a month. And today's been a really difficult day for me, actually. I've struggled today, and I can say that I've not had a great day. And it always seems to be when I have to come on and do something like a live, or I have to go and have an interview. I did an interview the other day, and all day I was just not in a good place. I mean, for obsessions, I know that I've always had it very, very, before the book, I think if people have read it, and anybody that knows me, I had a bad problem with letting things go. I couldn't let go of things, even if they were bad for me. I couldn't let go. I just couldn't. And you'll replay things over and over again in your mind to the point where it drives you insane. However, I then, I can be obsessed with things like powerlifting, which I was obsessed with for 2 years. And people, I probably did the heads in with it, and I was obsessed with it. I was absolutely obsessed with it. However, I was happy. And I think that's what's important, is that you're happy. I get obsessed sometimes with my 40-day meditations with Kundalini Yoga. If I go on a 40-day meditation, that's me. I'm obsessed with that 40-day meditation. I'm obsessed with those teachings. And I remember, you know, a friend of mine used to drink, and he then got obsessed with the holistic path, to the point where he would get really, really agitated if he didn't get home and eat his food at a certain point, which I did with the powerlifting. When I was on 6 meals a day, whew, you know, you're on 6 small meals a day. If you're not having your meal every 2 hours and you're 4 hours behind that meal, Brenda's coming out. I think you have to try and find that balance, which is really difficult to do for somebody that has our condition. I know it is for me. I felt like that today, actually. You know, I was like a million miles an hour yesterday, but today felt really depressed, actually, and couldn't meditate, I needed to watch a series that I knew I needed to watch, couldn't watch it. And I think sometimes you just have to accept it, and you have to go, do you know what? These are the cards that have been dealt. What works for me, what doesn't. And some days are going to be really, really bad, and some days are going to be absolutely fantastic. And you know, I've said this before, Stephen Fry, I think, interviewed 1,000 people with bipolar disorder and said, if you had a button and you could switch it off, would you switch it off? One person said yeah. So, you know, we're magnificent. Don't forget that. Absolutely magnificent. So I hope that's answered the question. Thank you, Natasha. Oh, brilliant. I've answered it. Thank you. Okay, I got another question that come through. I had to ask somebody about this. Other than diet, hydration, are we at the mercy of the changes in our mood? I'm going to be completely honest. I don't have control over my moods. If I did, I wouldn't have the condition that I've got. I kind of relate it to somebody that has diabetes. They don't have control over diabetes. Do they have control to prevent them going into a hypo if they put things in place? Yeah, they do. The same with us. I think if we put things in place, we definitely can prevent the extremeness of what we feel. But we don't have a control. And we are at mercy of it, because it's a chemical imbalance at the end of the day. It's an illness, just like diabetes is. You can't control. I'm not, very well up on diabetes, but I know it's to do with your blood sugars. You can't necessarily control when your chemicals want to go. I styled that quite well then, actually, didn't I? I hiccup. Well, I burped, actually, sorry, but I went and it burped, sorry. But yeah, you can't control it, but you can have an awareness, and I think that's the key. So I knew today, I rang my friend and I was like ranting. For the past couple of weeks, I felt very agitated, but very hyper, very proactive, wanting to get everything done. While I'm planning one thing, I'm planning 20 things after. So unfortunately, as positive as sometimes people may think I come across, I don't think we are, if I've got that right, that question, we are at the mercy of the changes in mood. I don't think you can always control your mood changing. You just have to have things in place that you think, okay, let me go and try this. So sometimes I'll literally know that I'm struggling. I need to go to the gym. I'm struggling now because I'm not physically being able to go to the gym. I know now it's starting to have an effect on me. Also my midriff as well. Okay, sorry. So, what do you think family members can do when someone in the family has recently been diagnosed? What is the most useful for those around when you're having a high or a low? So I have to read things twice if that's okay. What do you think family members can do when someone in the family has recently been diagnosed? What is the most useful for those around when you are having a high or low? I think this is a really difficult question for me to answer. And whoever that is that, sorry, M. McCartney, can you drop me that in a message? Just because I would like to probably cover that when I bring somebody on, one of my guests. How best can they support you? Sorry, didn't make it clear. I mean, okay, how best can they support me? Or you? It's really difficult, I think, because it's only over a period of time do you start to become aware of how people are when they have this condition. I think the mood scale is fantastic. I use the mood scale that's on Bipolar UK's website. I think that would be amazing for people to have. My son's 9 years old and he has the mood scale. So he sees the colours and the numbers and he knows where I am on that mood scale. So I would recommend anybody who does have a family member or has recently been diagnosed to get their hands on that material. Also to join the Bipolar UK e-community, because there's so many inspirational and informative people on there that can give you tips and advice. From my personal experience, you know, I was supported very, very much so with my best friend that I had in my life for 12 years, because he used to be able to tell me when I was getting ill, because I didn't used to actually know, because I didn't have an awareness of it. It's very, very difficult to be around. I'm very lucky because my cousin looks after me if I get really poorly. I think it depends where you are in the mood scale, and that's why I would suggest using it, because if obviously you're in a very severe low, i.e. going into having suicidal thoughts and suicide, I would suggest that that's where you need to take action and take them to hospital. And again, if they go into obviously, you know, full-blown, you know, hypomania, or, you know, and they're having psychosis, and that's when you need to take them to hospital. I think the most difficult thing is you know, and I keep saying this because I've been let down a lot through my life with this condition, because people don't understand, and it's very difficult to understand, and it's took me so many years to understand, and I'm still learning now. I really, really am still learning now. And I'm still, even after doing the book, I'm still terrified of people thinking I'm too much, and I get talking to somebody that I like and I get obsessed with them and I think, oh my God, but I have that awareness. So to answer to your question, I mean, you know, it's very difficult. I mean, you know, my friends that were very close to me when I was poorly not so long ago said, you know, you're an attention seeker and you need to think of your son and things like that. I think the most important thing you can do for people with this, if you have got somebody suffering, is always give people a hug if you can. That's very important. Always hug people. Try to understand. It's very difficult to understand. I don't understand how somebody feels that's got no legs. I can sympathise and empathise, but I can't fully feel it because I've not experienced it. Try and talk to them. Try and get them to journal. Journaling's really important. It's hugely important. Get them to write out their moods. Get them to be able to express, and try and get the right support in place. Bipolar UK are amazing, and they have, you know, there's a number that you can contact. I'll make sure that gets posted after this. I hope that's answered your question. It's a bit of a tricky question for me, and I would like to cover that in another live. Do I think bipolar is a lonely path to walk? Yeah, sometimes I do. I do. Yeah, it goes back to that, I think, when, you know, I really would like to, you know, meet somebody now, and I'm terrified of it because I still haven't cleared that I have this condition, and I get angry and I get depressed sometimes, and I don't want to put that on other people. Yeah, it can be very lonely, but that touched me, that question, for some reason. I don't know, but it did. That being said, I think we're absolutely magnificent. I honestly don't think people that experience the energy that we get, you know, because when we love, don't we? Do you know what I mean? You want to be loved by someone with bipolar disorder. Trust me, you would never ever feel love like it. You would never feel love like it. But yeah, it is. It's lonely. It is lonely because it's you and your chaotic head and your thoughts and your emotions, and sometimes you can't make sense of it. And that's why it's important if you have those support groups. And you know what, I'm really lucky because I've ended up meeting people in lockdown now that I'll probably have friends with now for life. And I've met other people that suffer. I think it's really important, the Bipolar UK community, because people get it. And you that when people get you and understand you, that makes it a lot less lonely. But it really touched me, that question. Sorry, I got a bit, I'm nearly going to swear then, got a bit emotional then, sorry. Sending you a big virtual hug. This is so helpful. I've just been diagnosed with bipolar and I feel so anxious about it, so thank you. Honestly, head over to Bipolar UK's website, get onto the community. Obviously you're on the Bipolar UK Instagram, and I'm going to be doing the lives next week, starting with guests, so with my therapist, and you know, don't be scared. It's a roller coaster, but we're all in it together. So we're here, and as lonely as it can be sometimes at night. Actually, I'm a bit of a night bird. I like the night time. As long as it can be at certain points, always reach out. And you know, this is why we've got these platforms, so people can reach out, and the support groups. And Speak Out Like Brenda is why I did the monologues. Do you know what I mean? That was huge for me, to get those monologues out there for people to be able to see, you know what, we're all going through this. And not even people just with bipolar, people that, you know, suffer with, you know, severe depression, severe anxiety disorder. You know, we're all in it together, mental health. And it's something that we need to all be, you know, people say it, be kind, but it is, you know, be kind. It's an invisible illness at the end of the day. You know, going off track here because I do, but I got a call today saying, does your mum still need the boxes with the food? And I was like, no, only because she's stocking them up, like, and she's a hoarder, as if anyone's read my book, you'll know. But then she was like, I said, but I'm down as a vulnerable adult because I have bipolar disorder. Oh, okay, but do you have a physical condition? I'll leave that one there. Anyway, don't know why therapists don't push Bipolar UK. I felt alone until I discovered your book and Bipolar UK. Thank you for all you've done. Oh my God, thank you so much. That means so much. And I think that'll mean so much to Bipolar UK as well. I didn't expect my book to have the effect that it had on people. And my friend who helped me is just there. Is there a certain behaviours you can recognise in yourself when you're going into a bad episode, even if you can't control them? Is there certain behaviours you can recognise in yourself? Yeah, I think there is. Definitely now. They didn't used to be 5-6 years ago. I rang my friend up today and I was like, I think I ring my friend she's great. I feel sorry for her in a way, because I'd probably put on her quite a bit, to be honest. Sorry. Yeah, I recognise it. When I start to get obsessed with something, WhatsApp's horrendous for me. If somebody doesn't reply to me on WhatsApp and things like that, little things can really trigger me off. Yeah, I knew I was kind of manic. I was quite manic the beginning of the week because it was causing agitation. So I knew I needed to take time out. When I'm on a roll, I want things to be here and now every single day. But actually, I wouldn't be able to handle it because I get locked on. Yeah, I notice behaviours in my thought process, in my productivity. Instead of having a kind of map out of a plan of things that I want to do, so I'll have a list, I'll do this, this and this. I won't. I'll go off in this direction, off in that direction, off in another. For me, it's an energy. That's how I've become to understand it for me now. So I know energetically, which is weird for me really, because that's how I've always used my tools as an actress, as an energy. So yeah, I think energetically, if I start to feel I lose my appetite, I'll become not very interested in things. I won't be enjoying things. Somebody could ring me and tell me you've got a lead in Coronation Street and I'd probably still not be very particularly bothered about it. Joe Gilgun said it in one of his interviews, you know, you've got all these good things going for you and you sat there like the world's going to end, and it's like, do you not think I don't know this? Do you know what I mean? But that's just the way that you feel. And when you start to feel like that, what I've learned is I've gone, okay, I need to do something here. So last year before I went to LA, I started to suffer with very, very severe physical anxiety. And that's when I was like, there's something manifesting in my body. I'm in some sort of trauma here. I've been going at too much of a high speed. I need to slow down. And I was like, I need to go back. I need to start doing yoga again. Go back to what starts to help you. But yeah, I definitely see it. My episodes I've had 2 major episodes, but each day's a struggle for me. Like I say, each day is different. It really is. Missed your reply. A screen keeps freezing. My GP shocked as PIP tribunal is not taking bipolar 1 seriously. Reduced hours, but no financial help. You've got some loopholes. I don't really know too much about that, so I wouldn't want to comment on it. But what I would probably suggest is contacting the Citizens Advice. I believe that they're really helpful. And speak to them on the phone, because it's not something that I'm totally well up on. I'm just checking I've answered everybody's questions because I'm going to wrap up shortly. And I hope it's been an interesting live for you. I've kind of just winged it. Oh, Sarah's watching. Sarah Taylor Coaching. That's the lady that's helping me with my anxiety at the moment. So she is actually there, I think. I think she is. Yeah. Okay. So I hope I've answered people's questions with the Q&A. Please do keep, obviously, following all Bipolar UK's posts. Please keep supporting the Speak Out Like Brenda campaign. I've got more and more monologues coming from some amazing, talented people. And I'm so grateful to them. I'm going to have some amazing guests joining me on these lives. I kind of want to do it every week, but I'm not, obviously, I don't want to commit to every week just because sometimes I get ill, and I'm sure you can understand that, and I get into this little box of oh, I can't do this, and I've got obviously other things as well. But you know, you've got the e-community on Bipolar UK. I'm going to get them to post the number as well after this live. If you want any information in regards to obviously my book, it's obviously over on Amazon, Me, Myself and Bipolar Brenda. And obviously you can follow me over on Me, Myself and Bipolar Instagram. The Speak Out Like Brenda campaign, we've got loads of more things in store, loads and loads of more things coming. We're looking for more brand ambassadors as well for Speak Out Like Brenda, to get people sharing their experiences. And, you know, don't suffer in silence. Like I keep saying, stand proud, warts and all. And it's, you know what? It is dark sometimes. Trust me. It really is. I hope I've not swore. I hope I've answered everybody's questions. And if you need any information, the iPhones. I'm going to get a Samsung, me. I'm probably not actually. I won't know how to work it. But any questions, anything that you need, either over to me, myself and Bipolar Brenda, or onto Bipolar UK. Thank you so, so much for having me. And can we just give a massive clap for the fact that this has been the first Bipolar UK live Instagram. And hopefully I didn't swear and you have enjoyed it. From me, myself and Bipolar Brenda and Bipolar UK and the Speak Out Like Brenda campaign, I am sending you so much light and love. And I thank you so much for joining me tonight. Do you know what? You have absolutely made me day, because you know what? I was having a not great day. I was going to swear then. Right at the end, I'd ruin it. I wasn't having a great day, and you've absolutely filled me out coming on and watching and supporting. Stay strong, our kids, wherever you are, and always remember, always reach out. Yep. Much love to yous. I'm going to go now. Thank you so much for joining me. Lots of love. And hopefully I will see you next week along with a special guest. I don't know how to go. Oh, there we go.